Hi, hello, good morning on a Friday morning. We haven't done a pet pairing video in a while, so I figured it is time for me to show you one of my favorite looks that I've discovered lately, and we can also chat a little bit. I must warn you, I sound a little bit tired because it's been a week. I'm going to take my Inglot eyeshadow keeper to start off the look with. Not so much work-wise, although I was quite busy work-wise as well, but we just had a lot of like Christmas-related activities with the group at work. And yesterday was the last... No, it was not the last one. On Monday we still have another one. We're going to see Wicked together. So a bunch of us from work are going to get together, have dinner, and then go Wicked. Who knows, maybe you are going to go Wicked. No, we're going to watch Wicked. In full disclosure, I already saw Wicked because a friend of mine mentioned that she would like to see the movie and then asked if I would like to go. And I had already made plans with my colleagues to see it. But you know, I'm not going to say no to a second opportunity to watch Wicked. So I went to watch Wicked already last Saturday. Spoiler alert, I loved it. I thought it was so good. Everything was so well done. Cynthia and Ariana were absolutely amazing. The acting was amazing, the singing was amazing. Let me tell you, I am like an almost 42-year-old person, so I did not really grow up with the music of Ariana Grande. She doesn't really mean all that much to me, you know, as a cultural reference. I'm going to grab the NARS Light Reflecting Foundation in the shade Deauville. So, like I said, not familiar with Ariana, not familiar with her music. Like, I know a few of her songs because they've been on the radio, but I am not at all familiar with her. I knew about her, but that's pretty much it. And I gotta tell you, I became a fan of Ariana Grande after she hosted SNL. She's now hosted SNL at least twice, I wanna say. I don't know if it's been more times. I don't really keep track of how many times she's been there, but pretty much all the skits I've seen with her on SNL were chef's kiss. The girl has a knack for comedy. She's really good. And if you are looking for recommendations for like particular, you know, skits to watch with her on SNL, I recommend watching The People Pleasers. I recommend watching Moulin Rouge. That one is going to crack you up. I recommend watching Castrati. That one literally almost made me pee my pants. It was so good. Playing charades with Mom, she's also really good in this one. Honestly, you guys just go watch Ariana in SNL if you don't really know what she's like as a comedic presence. Oh no, there was also one where she was imitating a bunch of pop stars. She's also really good at imitations. She does a fantastic imitation of Jennifer Coolidge. There's also a skit where she does a full-on like imitation of Jennifer Coolidge, but she's done an imitation of Jennifer Coolidge I think on several different shows. So she's got a knack for comedy, and I have to tell you, I was actually quite surprised on how good of a singer she is. I already knew Cynthia Erivo was an amazing singer. Ironically, I was also not introduced to Cynthia Erivo originally through her music or her Broadway musical career. I was introduced to Cynthia Erivo through a show where she didn't produce a single note, you know. I watched The Outsider on HBO, I think a couple of years ago, and I think I told you about it, that it was the kind of like thriller detective mystery show that just like crawls underneath your skin. It was so good. And she was in it, and then I was so impressed that I looked her up. I found out that she's also like a singer, so I looked up her singing. You can easily find Cynthia Erivo performances on YouTube, like prior to Wicked obviously. So I fell in love with Cynthia, and when I heard that she was cast as Elphaba, I was absolutely thrilled. And I have to tell you, I think the casting was spot on both ladies. They just did an amazing job. I can't stop singing along to the songs, and I cannot wait to go and watch the show again. I'm going to take the Chanel Sublimage Concealer in the shade 20. Did you guys already see Wicked? I think I've mentioned before that I am a huge Broadway musical fan. I did not grow up with Broadway musicals. I was introduced to them a lot later in life, and I think my true love for the craft has developed a little bit over the past couple of years, a little bit more. I've even gone to see a couple of them live now, and I've fallen in love with the art even more now that I've seen it live. In great news, I scored tickets for Hadestown in the Netherlands next summer. I think I've talked about Hadestown. I'm absolutely obsessed with Hadestown. And they started like a West End production of it about a year ago. And then my colleague and I, who are obsessed with Hadestown, they introduced me to Hadestown originally, and then I became obsessed with it, and we've been like fangirling over well, fan peopling, they are non-binary. We've been obsessed with Hadestown for a couple of years, and we actually seriously debated the possibility to just go see it on West End, which would also be absolutely phenomenal, because I think there are a lot of, you know, shows running on the West End that I would still love to see. Plus, you know, a whole experience, like a little trip to London, catching up with some of you who live in London. I think that's still something that I would really love to do. But then I was almost entirely convinced that the show is probably going to make it across the pond, because Six, for example, was on West End, and then last year I saw Six in Amsterdam, and I thought there's a really big chance. I feel like I predict there's a big chance that Hadestown is going to come to the Netherlands as well. And then lo and behold, they released tickets for sale a couple of months ago, and I think I maybe even told you the story, that I was in Paris for a work trip and I was taking a bus, I think, to go to Sephora, like on a few like free hours that we had during that meeting, and then my colleague texted me that the tickets had gone on sale, so I was like frantically buying tickets for Hadestown on a bus in Paris. Anyway, going to take the Hourglass ambient lighting in the shade Dim Light to not really set, but you know, finish powder my face, sort of to set. And I'm actually quite curious how this powder will behave together with the NARS Light Reflecting Foundation, and whether I'm going to get super oily or the two work together well. I'm going to press a little bit everything with my sponge. The sponge is completely dry, by the way, there's no Fix Plus on it or anything. I'm going to quickly do my brows with the 24-hour brow fixer from brow setter from Benefit. So yes, huge Broadway musical fan. This spring we saw Jesus Christ Superstar, which was incredible. Last year I saw Six, as I mentioned, and I saw Spring Awakening. Spring Awakening was an adaptation in Dutch, and I went in with a little bit of reservation, like, ooh, can they really pull off Spring Awakening in Dutch? 100% they did, which is why I'm very excited to see Dear Evan Hansen next year, which is also going to be in Dutch. Hadestown is going to be in English, it's just going to be the West End cast, or like the traveling West End cast who's going to perform. And the only thing I'm doubting about is if I want to go see Hadestown twice. Will once be enough? I think not. As it is, we have only bought tickets for one performance, and I'm going to continue thinking about who I could drag along with me to watch it possibly a second time. I think the colleague who is obsessed with it would probably not mind either. But for now we just have tickets for one show. I'm going to take the bronzer in the shade Totori, which is a 1, which is the lightest bronzer. Some of you, I think, have mentioned in the past that you are also big musical fan, and I'm curious whether you guys already saw Wicked. I mean, you probably have, because in the US it was released already in the second part of November. It was only released in the Netherlands December 4th, so I went to see it in one of the first opportunities that we had to see the movie, period. But I'm assuming a lot of you have already had plenty of opportunities to see it, and I'm very curious what you thought about it. I personally am in love. Can't wait to see it again, can't wait for it to already come to the streaming services so that I can watch it 10 more times. Oh, I forgot how much I really enjoy this bronzer. It's a beautiful, like, sort of like warmer leaning shade. It's a bit yellow in tone, and it's very buildable, it's very blurring, it's a gorgeous powder. I'm glad I forgot during the Black Friday sales that Cult Beauty now offers Hermes, and apparently Hermes was included in the 25% offers. I'm glad I didn't know about it, because I would probably have bought things I don't need. Let's stick with Hermes for my blush as well. I'm going to take this beautiful shade of blush in the shade Rose Tan. So yes, we were talking about, you know, events with colleagues. So yesterday we had our lab Christmas party. It was really fun. We went to play mini golf, then we went to have dinner, and we did our Secret Santa exchange. We've been doing this already for several years, that we, you know, go out to do something fun, and then we have food and we exchange presents. And it's never like really fancy presents or anything. Most of the time, not most of the time, we've been like setting the cap at like 15 euros for presents, so you can't really buy all that much fancy, and we're very pragmatic about it. We do it, you know, via a website where everyone can also fill in their wish list, because a lot of the times you will, you know, be Secret Santa for someone that you don't really know all that well. Like, unless you're really good friends with your colleagues. You don't really know them all that well. So it's always good to know exactly what they would like. So we always fill in like a little wish list, and then we buy presents off of that wish list. And if we know the person really, really well, then we can freestyle it. For my highlighter today, I'm going to take this beautiful highlighter from Dior in their Couture Luminizer formula. This one is in the shade Nude Glow. It has a sort of like champagne gold tone to it. And if you were wondering what was on my wish list and what I got as a present, first of all, it was one of my really good friends from work who picked me. So she could have probably thought of something even if I hadn't put on a wish list. But I put on my wish list a book, a pair of earrings from Alice, of course, and I think my biggest wish was like a personalized mug. Because through the last couple of years, we've been making a lot of like personalized mugs for people, either who are guest researchers with our lab or like for each other. And I think I was one of the last people in the lab who didn't have a personalized mug, and I really wanted to have one. And of course I got my personalized mug yesterday, and it is awesome. It says Little Miss Sparkle on it. I think I will show it to you on Instagram. It's so pretty. It has cats on it, so it basically combines all of my favorite things, cats and makeup. As usual, I'm going to set all the powders on my face with a little bit Fix Plus. My Fix Plus is really finally going to be finished, hopefully within the next few months, because I would like to completely transfer over to the Charlotte Tilbury setting spray, because I really like that spray. That spray really sets your makeup. This one is very nice, but this one is more like a finishing spray, a bit like, you know, having the Prada setting powder versus having the Hourglass finishing powder. Alright, I've zoomed you in, and we're going to do a look that I have actually briefly mentioned, I think, in a favorites video that I did not that long ago. So I want to do a look featuring my beloved Bronze Bliss Quint, and I'm going to use this beautiful like bronzy brown here as like a one and done shade. And I'm going to tell you what we're going to do after that later. I'm going to take the Worker Pro brush from Sonia G, because this is a really lovely brush to both pack and blend. And because I'm using this shade as a one and done, I would like to have a brush that offers both of these functionalities. So I'm just going to start pressing the powder here on my lids. And then I'm going to flip the brush and start blending it out. Let's talk about TV shows, because I have watched a couple of TV shows that I have opinions on. Let's start with A Man on the Inside. Oh my gosh, I loved it so much. Did you guys already see A Man on the Inside? It is, I'm not going to give away too much of the show, but I will tell you what the premise is. The premise is an elderly man who has recently become a widower, is, you know, sort of feeling lonely, you know, left out, unable to really proceed with his life as when his wife was there. And then he reads this advert in the newspaper, where this detective lady is looking for someone, an elderly person who can operate a mobile phone essentially, to go undercover for her in a retirement home, because there was a theft, like a jewelry theft was committed, and she wants to investigate it, but she has no way into the retirement home, so she wants to have eyes on the inside, which is why she wants to hire someone who goes undercover there for her. And the show is just so sweet. It will make you laugh, it will make you cry, it will make you want more than 8 episodes. Ted Danson is absolutely amazing in it. Honestly, I cannot recommend it enough, it was so good. I'm going to take a somewhat smaller pencil brush now, and I'm going to go back into the bronzy shade from Bronze Bliss. The name of that shade, by the way, is Bronzed Mink. And I'm going to run that lightly here on the outer portion of my lower lashes, just to make the look a bit more cohesive. The newest show that I've started watching, and I have not finished it yet, is with the one with Keira Knightley. It's called Black Doves, and let me tell you, I have some interesting opinions about that show. So I started watching it because it was super hyped up, and I love Keira Knightley, and it's been a while since I watched her in anything, so I thought, oh fun, she's doing a spy show, let's see how that goes. Now let me tell you what we're doing for a fun layering. We're going to grab the duo from Pat McGrath Labs in the shade Celestial Jade that features the beautiful champagne gold and the green, and we're going to do a bit of fun layering. I'm going to take a little bit of this gold shade, And the thing is, bronzed mink is super pretty, but it is a relatively deep shade, so you're going to end up with really smoky eyes. Sorry, husband came to distract me. I was saying, bronze mink is a gorgeous shade, but it is rather deep, so you're going to get quite a smoky eye look when you do like one and dance with that shade. So what I've found out is that when you layer this beautiful neutralish golden shade over top of it, you bring back a lot of light onto the lid without really taking away too much from the undertone of bronzed mink. So I'm just going to layer the two shades together, and I think they look so pretty together. I hope it's coming across on camera. And now I'm doubting whether I should have done this with my fingers. I think the brush works, but maybe I would have preferred it slightly just with my fingers. So I'm going to also do a little bit of this action while we talk about Black Doves. Okay, so I started watching Black Doves with like relatively like high expectations, and after the first 2 episodes I was like, first of all, I love Kira, but she's not very believable as a spy who also knows how to fight like a, you know, assassin. I'm going to grab my small pencil brush now, and I'm actually going to apply a little bit of that gold shade, but I'm going to be very strategic about it because I'm going to only apply it on like this portion of my inner corners, but I'm not going to bring it here on the lower lashes because that's where we're going to put the beautiful green shade to, you know, oops, have a little bit of a match here between my clothing and my makeup. So we're going to be strategic with the application of the gold shade. So yes, first of all that. Second of all, for a spy show, these spies make some pretty rookie mistakes. Like, I would be a pretty rookie spy if I like went out there and tried to do spy things, you know. But I would still be very much aware of the fact that, say I go into the apartment of my recently murdered lover, and it's a crime scene, okay, it's still all under investigation because the dude was murdered. Probably, if I'm going to like poke around his apartment, I'm not going to do it with my bare hands. I'm going to wear gloves, and I'm not going to leave my DNA and my fingerprints everywhere. Now for this next step, I'm going to take this small detail brush from Zoeva, because I do want to be very strategic with the application of the green shade. I just want it to be like a little stripe detail here on the lower lashes. So I'm going to take a brush that allows me that kind of precision, and I'm just going to shove that green right here on the lower lashes. Super pretty. I have to say, I was initially doubting whether I'm going to continue watching past episode 2, because also in one of the episodes, Kira gets attacked in her house, and this is hard not to give away spoilers. But let's say at one point she gets into like an actual like fist fight with someone who is supposedly a trained professional assassin, and she overpowers him. First of all, very quickly. Second of all, the fight scene looked rather ridiculous because Kira is a teeny tiny woman, and yeah, it was just not very believable. I'm sorry. So after the second episode, I was sincerely in doubt whether I want to continue watching the show, but then I couldn't really pick what else to watch, so I continued watching it, and I have to say, it sort of picks up in episodes 3 and 4, not because it becomes more believable, but because you know, there's a lot of like banter between the main characters in the show, which is sort of like fun to watch. So the interaction, the actual characters, especially the non-Keira Knightley character, the Keira Knightley character slightly irritates me, but the other characters, like especially her like partner in crime, he's really fun to watch, so I enjoyed the interaction between the two of them. So, you know, there are parts of the show that I enjoy, which is why I've watched. To be honest with you, I wasn't quite sure what lipstick would look good with this look, so in the end I kind of threw a mix of these two from Hermes. So this is one of their new lipsticks for the fall collection. This is the shade Beige Doubly. It's like a beautiful beigey clay rosy shade, and on top of that I threw one of their shiny lipsticks, satin lipsticks. This one is in the shade Beige Bluey. I have it from an older limited edition collection, but I'm pretty sure they re-released this shade recently. I want to say as a permanent shade. Anyway, I kind of mixed the two, so you can't really tell which one is which. But, you know, I was kind of feeling like wearing an Hermes lipstick, so that's why I went with Hermes. And I hope that you enjoyed this look. I very much enjoy, you know, how this look turned out. I really love the layering of the bronzy shade from Bronze Bliss together with the gold from Celestial Jade, and I love the little like green detail here because it's there, but it's still a little bit inconspicuous. So I think for people who are afraid to wear color, this is a fantastic way to incorporate color into your looks. I hope that you enjoyed my super random ramblings on a Friday morning, well, at least a Friday morning for me. Let me know your thoughts on the look and the random chat. As usual, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!